I just want to read the summary of this bill. This bill creates a ground of inadmissibility and a ground of removability or deportability for aliens who admit to or are convicted of certain fraud offenses or the unlawful receipt of a federal, state, or local public benefit. The bill also makes the described aliens ineligible for immigration relief in the United States. I cannot imagine why anybody in their right mind would oppose that bill. I cannot imagine why anyone would think that it was appropriate to allow people who commit fraud to stay in this country. I cannot imagine how this could even be controversial, that if you are in this country and you commit fraud, that you are not immediately deportable. I also want to note that it is legal to own guns in the United States of America. It is illegal to commit fraud. That's the difference between the two. I also want to challenge my colleagues on the other side. If you actually cared about the ag industry, if you actually cared about our farmers and ranchers, you would work with us every day to try to lift the incredible regulatory burdens that you have imposed on that industry. Between the Biden administration, the Obama administration, the effort by the Democrats in Congress to absolutely destroy our ag industry has been legion. The effort to impose taxes against our cattle producers, the efforts to force DEF, destroying our diesel industry. I mean, every single move that I have seen the Democrats take in the last 25 years has been contrary to the best interests of our farmers and ranchers, and yet they're going to sit here today and lament the fact that we are saying if you come into this country and you commit fraud, we're kicking you out. That is what they're going to focus on, is the impact on the ag industry. That is just an effort to completely deflect attention from what we're really trying to do here, which is get rid of fraudsters. What we have seen in Minnesota, what we see in California.
Would the gentleman yield?
No, I will not. What we have seen in California, what we see in Minnesota, what we have seen from these various fraudsters, what they are doing to our country. I was just meeting with an Indian tribe trying to find a way to resolve a long-standing water dispute that is going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and we have numerous of those situations in this country where we need to resolve long-standing water disputes and reserved water rights. And you know what? We don't have the money. The country doesn't have the money to resolve those matters and address those needs on those reservations because you have people in Minnesota and California and others who are here who have defrauded our government to the tune of tens of billions of dollars. How could it be anything but common sense to require or to force somebody who commits fraud in our country, steals from our taxpayers, steals from our farmers and ranchers, steals from our farmers and ranchers, steals from our ag industry, steals from other people? Why in the world would you want to keep them in this country? Why in the world would it not be automatic to deport them and get rid of them? With that, I yield back.
Would the gentleman further yield?
Yes.
I'd like to ask the gentlelady a question. We were both here during the previous administration when we had 10 million more workers. Did we see inflation go down?
No, it went up.
Did we see an availability of farm workers leading to lower costs?
Absolutely not.
So is there anything that has this idea that removal of fraud committing individuals in an expedited way somehow would be adverse versus bringing in fraudsters from around the world in an unchecked fashion?
Well, I just have one comment. One of the primary areas of fraud in Minnesota relates to the so-called learning centers or daycare centers. Yet 80% of the Somali population in Minnesota is on welfare. Why do they have all of these daycare centers? Why are they not taking care of their own children if they are on welfare, if they are not working? That gives you an idea of the relationship between employment and fraud. They have nothing to do with each other.